Do not eat too much. In fact, it's much better, much healthier. If you want to live long and prosper, as the Vulcans say, what you want to do is you want to actually um, uh, even skip a meal or two, or maybe even three a week. Your body's going to be just fine. And in fact, it's going to thank you by helping you become more efficient. One way it becomes more efficient when you miss a meal, which is basically the same as intermittently fasting. If you miss breakfast, you're extending your fasting from bedtime, from sleeping. If you miss lunch, you're creating a fasting window between breakfast and dinner. All right. And if you only eat one meal a day, man, you are extending your fasting big time from the evening until dinner the next day. Just don't overeat when you eat. Remember what I'm telling you. But one thing that happens that is really important, and you probably heard about this now, is something called autophagy. So when you fast, your body uh, gets the instructions to clean out old, useless, and dying cells. It just basically does some spring cleaning. And you know how good it feels when you actually clean up your garage or clean up your kitchen or clean up your bedroom or whatever it is you need to, or your office. When you do that cleaning, it just feels a lot better afterwards. And so that's actually another little trick for lifelong health, but also living long.
And speaking of intermittent fasting, I think a lot of times people, when they eat their first meal or eating their food in general, they don't know what to eat. There's so much talk about what to eat for breakfast. There's eat steak and eggs, eat bacon and eggs, eat oatmeal, don't eat oatmeal, eat this, not that. Based on the science and your research and your career as a physician, like what are the best options food wise for a healthy breakfast?
Let me tell you what I do, because maybe that is the most telling, because I sort of like to practice what I preach. First of all, because I'm a busy guy and my schedule is sometimes really, really densely packed, I sometimes wind up skipping breakfast. Yeah, do I get a little hungry? Yeah, but before I'm so absorbed with what I'm doing, before I know it, it's lunchtime. So you can skip. All right. So one thing, good thing to eat for breakfast is nothing. All right. So let's start with that. Now, when I do eat breakfast, what are the things that I like to eat? First of all, I eat very, very lightly. So how do I build up what I'm going to do? Well, I never go without a cup of coffee in the morning. All right. And if somebody offers me a cup of coffee, I never turn them down. Um, uh, Coffee is liquid, and by itself, it's kind of nutrient dense because it's got bioactives like chlorogenic acid. It even has a little bit of dietary fiber, depending on how you make your coffee, and it's good for your metabolism. And it actually is good for your circulation and your stem cells in your body as well. So you're renewing yourself just with this liquid. All right. Coffee better than orange juice. I don't do orange juice. Orange juice, tall glass of orange juice made with the equivalent of 8 oranges for a tall glass. That's a lot of sugar, a lot of fructose, fruit sugars to put in there. True, you do get the dietary fiber and you get other bioactives, but that's actually where you get a ton of sugar. So coffee, either nothing or coffee. And then what do I build on top of the coffee? I like to eat some fruit, seasonal fruits. In the summer, if I have a nice, juicy, ripe peach, I'll slice it up, just one peach, and I'll eat those slices. That's great. If I wanted to have something, and I'll tell you, I was doing some research in the Mediterranean this summer. I made myself Greek yogurt every single day. Not a lot, not a big honking. It's not like an ice cream sundae bowl. All right. I had a little kind of dessert cup kind of thing. I put 2 dollops of 2 big spoonfuls of yogurt, whole fat yogurt. That's been proven to be a probiotic that actually lowers your cholesterol, actually lowers the risk of heart disease, doesn't raise it because it's good for your gut microbiome, which is good for your heart. And what I do, because I never get pre-sweetened with fruit or anything, jelly and nothing. I like the plain yogurt, which is how they eat it in the Mediterranean. I took fresh fruits, cut them up, sprinkled the fresh fruits on top. I'm putting the fruits down. I know what's in there. It's whole, fresh, seasonal fruits. And then I took some nuts, like tree nuts, like pistachios, crushed them up, sprinkled them on top. Now I got the probiotic yogurt. Now I got the nutrient dense seasonal fruits. Now I've got some dietary fiber from the tree nuts and healthy fats. You get what I'm going here. And then, of course, then if you want a little bit of sweetness to it, which is totally okay, more than the fruit, I found, for example, in the Mediterranean, I happened to be in Greece when I was doing this research. Take some organic honey, and not the plastic bottle you're squeezing on. They just a little spoonful and just drizzle a little bit on top, just for a little bit of sweetness. Okay, honey actually has got bioactives as well that are antibacterial, anti. They're like kind of like the bees antibiotics. Also, kind of good for your mouth and your throat and coat your throat as well. So again, I will build a breakfast like that if I can, or I'll just have the fruit and I'll have the coffee. I tend not to eat carbs very much in the morning. And I don't eat breakfast meats. I try to stay away from the bacon and the sausage. I mean, I don't try to. I definitely do. That's not a choice that I'll actually make myself. What about eggs? I don't eat eggs a lot, but I do like eggs. um, Eggs are a great source of protein. And if you get good quality eggs, like, eggs that come from healthy hens, healthy baby, healthy mom, healthy baby. Same deal with eggs, healthy hen, healthy eggs. And especially if you get like a free range hen that is eating what it's supposed to eat, might be surprised. The egg, when you crack it open, that yolk is not bright yellow. Like I used to think eggs are yellow, bright yellow egg yolk. But in fact, it's like this dark orangish red, like a blood moon. Beautiful. And that's because it's loaded with carotenoids. And the carotenoids that I would suggest somebody who's interested in healthy aging looks for are lutein and zeaxanthin. That's what makes that egg yolk orange. The more orange, the better it is. Lutein and zeaxanthin has been studied by the National Eye Institute in the United States, the epicenter for research on eye health, to decrease the risk of vision loss. Keeps your sight better. Now, if you had to lose a sense, one of your five senses, for example, the last thing I think I would want to lose is my vision. So I'm glad whenever I eat an egg, I get some protein. I get, and I get some of these carotenoids as well.
What do you think are the most important daily habits for overall health and longevity?
Those are two really packed questions. I'll try to peel them apart a little bit and try to figure out where they come together. In other words, if you want to be healthy and live long, what are some of the things that are important on a daily level? Well, I will tell you, physical movement is probably one of the most important things. We all spend way too much time sitting on our butts, doing important things, in front of a screen. But in fact, the old school way of getting up and walking is absolutely critical. And the ways that I think that, the reason it's important is because walking improves your circulation, which is critical for the health of our organs. When you sit, kind of blood has to be pumped by your heart, kind of like a pump in an aquarium, like your goldfish bowl or aquarium in your house. It's a lot of work. You got to put that thing through the filter. But actually, if you think about like a living sea, goldfish don't live in the sea, but if you had marine fish, for example, the currents actually move back and forth, and that movement is actually really, really important for overall health. So that's one thing, physical activity. And by the way, you don't need to hire a trainer, buy super expensive workout equipment. Just even starting by walking 30 minutes a day, walking briskly, like you're, trying to catch a train or trying to catch a bus. That's kind of the thing that I'm talking about. Put on a pair of headphones, put on your favorite podcast, which we know what yours is, and and go, and I think that's a good way to do it. Number two, I would actually say, and this is something that a lot of people don't realize, is staying hydrated. We lose water from our bodies more than just peeing it out. We lose water through insensible losses, meaning you can't really measure it very easily. Our sweat, our breath. Listen, if you snore at night, you're losing even more fluid by that. But just even existing, like water evaporates up. If you live in a warm area, you're going to be losing even more. That's the kind of invisible fluid loss that we don't realize. But guess what? Staying hydrated is not only good for your cardiovascular system, which we need to stick around and for a long time and be strong, but it's also really important for our kidneys. Our kidneys need to be well watered because every kidney, your left kidney, your right kidney, is a filter. But it's a filter made with lots of little tiny filters, and each kidney, we got two of them, has 500,000 filters. These are little mini filters made with blood vessels, and you actually need to run fluid through it in order to be able to keep it well flushed and working. So think about it like in your house. If you don't run the water in your drain, you don't flush a toilet every now and then, the pipes dry out. And that's not what you want to have in your kidneys as well. So I would say something that a lot of people miss is really staying really, really well hydrated. So people say, should I drink 10 cups of water a day or 15 or whatever the quote recommendation is? I'll tell you, as a scientist and as a physician, don't worry about those numbers. Just listen to your own body. If you feel thirsty, you should be drinking. And if you're going to drink water, not soda, because the soda's got all those calories or artificial sweeteners that are going to damage your gut microbiome. So water is a really good choice. Coffee or tea? Hey, listen, I got a cup of espresso right here. Coffee, good for the health, good for longevity, good for metabolism. That's another way to contribute to staying hydrated. And some people say, well, isn't coffee a diuretic? Doesn't it actually make you lose water because it makes you pee more, right? I mean, I believed that for a long time. When I was in medical school, I was drinking a ton of coffee just to stay awake when I was on call. And you would think that it actually makes you go to the bathroom. But studies have shown that if you drink less than 10 cups of coffee a day, you're not going to be losing water. Actually stays about even. So you get water from drinking a cup of coffee as well. So that's the second thing. I would say the other thing for everyday health is not to eat too much. We eat way too much, more than we need to. And so I say eat slowly, savor your food. So make sure you're eating something that you truly enjoy, not wolfing down, but really enjoy. Make it plant-based if you can. All right. And people go, you know what? I'm done with the salad bar. But there are so many plant-based foods that are absolutely delicious. Go ahead and look them up online. Delicious plant-based food, Mediterranean. Do a search and see if that's something you'd like to eat. But don't eat too much of it. That's the key thing. Do not eat too much. In fact, it's much better, much healthier